It was Boxing Day, mild still, no wind, sunlight cracking through the leaves at mid-afternoon angles. I took off my old tracksuit and put on my jeans, a jumper and a light jacket to go to the office. It was Boxing Day, mild still, no wind, sunlight cracking through the leaves at mid-afternoon angles. I took off my old tracksuit and put on my jeans, a jumper. It was Boxing Day, mild still, no wind, sunlight cracking through the leaves at mid-afternoon angles. I took off my old tracksuit and put on my jeans, a jumper and a light jacket to go to the office to finish some work I should have done before Christmas. That's not a big problem. I rummaged through my socks and hats and pulled out a favourite orange beanie, slung my keys around my neck and headed out into the square below my flat. I waved at the local bar owners on my way as I usually do. Got to work and undid the shutters, pulled them up, unlocked the front door and spent a few hours with the papers. I locked up again and headed home. It was still fine out, the sun was still shining, so the temperatures were just about holding up before they dipped down behind the horizon. Took my jacket off and carried it under my arm for a moment before stopping to put it into my backpack. And as I went past the park, I saw something or someone disturb the pigeons, and a whole flock of them suddenly spiraled quickly up into the air and separated, flying away in different directions in search of a safe perch. I turned the corner and walked down a long leafy road with a high metal pole fence on one side. It kept us out of a university car park and a nursery school. And as I approached the nursery, I saw a guy who seemed to be trying to scale the tall fence. He was stood on a horizontal bar at the bottom. He looked like he was West African. In the south of Spain, there are a lot of recently migrated people from that part of the neighbouring continent. I couldn't see exactly what he was doing, and I got a bit closer and it became clear that he wasn't trying to get over the fence. He was fiddling with something on the top horizontal bar, still standing on the bottom bar. And as I got nearer, I still couldn't work out what he was doing, but as I passed directly next to him, I saw that he tied one end of a scarf around one of the poles protruding from the top of the fence and had the other one round his neck. I'd now stopped walking and swiveled round to face him about 10 metres away, and suddenly he kicked both of his feet back and slipped off the top bar, and he was hanging there. Just hanging there. Luckily, two Moroccans were walking directly past on the other side of the pavement, and they dashed over, tried to support the man's legs and hold him up. I hesitated for a second and realised that it was a homeless shelter just about 50 metres down the road, and I figured I could probably get more sets of hands to come and help instead of just my two. So I shouted up and told them what I was going to do, sprinting, my heart racing, head spinning. I wasn't 100% sure of how I needed to say what I needed to say in Spanish, but I was in autopilot and the words came out perfect and everybody understood. The security guards, the receptionist and some of the clients ran out behind me. We all ran up the road and they surrounded the man, and some of them started holding him up. One of the workers at the shelter had brought a pair of scissors and was hacking away at the scarf at the top of the fence. Eventually it gave way and the man was lowered down onto the pavement. He was breathing deeply again now. I'm not sure if he was conscious. He might have been up there for 2 minutes maximum, and I don't know how these things work. But I noticed he had scars on his arms and his belly. They looked like they were self-inflicted wounds, and at that moment I began to try and imagine what had happened to this guy leading up to this day. Why today? Boxing Day. What was his story? Suddenly somebody said, "Call the police." I remember thinking an ambulance might have been a little bit better. I'm a spiritual person, not really that religious, but I crossed my heart and chest and tapped my forehead for this guy. Hoped he'd be okay. I moved away quickly before the police arrived, satisfied that my mind was a washing machine trying to make sense and clarify these tangled threads that were tumbling over and over in the whirlpool. Got through the door, sat down and poured myself a whiskey from the bottle I'd bought myself for Christmas.
Vibration 2020 redeemed. Well, that's Whodiniz and me. Ask me who really believes. Say blood on your hands like ruby red sleeves. Throbbing bass and voice to varied degrees. Oh yes, of course we've got beats. Sharing lyrics and these audio trees. And I say fuck music videos and retweets.
Pick records and cut off a slice. Plenty of time left, so rub it up nice. Frothy, foamy, fizzing up wide. Serve it with peas, green bums and purple weeds. That'll put you on ice. Loop it on fingers over scratches that bleed. Meaning on a vinyl and sleeve. CDs fade away quick. The tape cassette sick. Up in the Pacific Northwest, got my album on stick. Global waxes on this. Ideas like terrapins are hatching out quick. Shells roll as we slip onto the shoulder place lips. Emotion we flip and zip out of reach like soap in the dip. Through red hot afternoons I'm fasting. Out in reality the majority are acting. We all play our role, we all pay our soul. When our own needs and dreams go without backing, DJ and WD will bring facts in. We eventually see like a newborn cat, free kitten rot in the Catskills. Whispers sensing what's around me. The pound they hound me. The crown sits way up top and looks down. We grip mics tight and rhyme on sight. To those who have highly developed third eyes in the night, sucking up meaning, licking up milk from the mothers attached to the ceiling. Out of mind, out of vision, a mental prison. The lips of leaf get wood rammed down lead into the slices of tree. Which of these vices are free and which ones do we play now and pay later like electricity?
Vibration 2020 redeemed. Well, that's Whodiniz and me. Ask me who really believes. Say blood on your hands like ruby red sleeves. Throbbing bass and voice to varied degrees. Oh yes, of course we've got beats. Sharing lyrics and these audio trees. And I say fuck music videos and retweets.
The hum stops when we focus on we. Cause I'm you and you're it and this way we breathe. To ample degrees I lean over the fence. Both sides could seem green if we could agree to bring a new pact in. Unconsciously rapping, stream of conscious syllables that come clapping out of the mouths of babes. The sound is slave and we are the master, but we couldn't see till today. Sometimes if you listen your dreams will tell you what's really happening. Fantasy, Phil waddled over to reality and slapped him. 5 points to discuss. No matter how hard you huff and puff, this house of cards ain't falling down around my ankles. Even though the banker still wangles and makes a broke man pay out. Mortgage the farm and ship the hay out. Take down the sails, bundle it up and burn the lot on the way out. You see it's a clever machine. Movements, tracking tendencies, getting to developing intricacies. Blast off, hats off to frontline workers with the back off that won't desert us. I look to the skies, let the sun in my eyes and feel more than ever the pressures of being alive.
Vibration 2020 redeemed. Well, that's Whodiniz and me. Ask me who really believes. Say blood on your hands like ruby red sleeves. Throbbing bass and voice to varied degrees. Oh yes, of course we've got beats. Sharing lyrics and these audio trees. And I say fuck music videos and retweets. Vibration 2020 redeemed. Well, that's Whodiniz and me. Ask me who really believes. Say blood on your hands like ruby red sleeves. Throbbing bass and voice to varied degrees. Oh yes, of course we've got beats. Sharing lyrics and these audio trees. And I say fuck music videos and retweets.
Still choosing.
Bad man. Dangerous. Yes, I told you it was gonna be dark.